What's good, YouTube? We are back with another video, and today is simply just reading price. And I already got into the what's it called, the charting part of this. So, I don't know if there's gonna be an upload. It's more so just for myself, recording, talking. I love doing that. Yeah, so boom, a change in the state on the 5 minute. We're gonna have marked in case like we do want to start buying back up. We could have a reason to pull back to this change in the state since we haven't yet, and then pull also back into a 5 minute fair value gap as well. So I don't know. Yeah, we don't. There's no 10 minute. So I would want to see that, but like it doesn't really also matter. So um yeah, we have a 1 hour fair value gap resting right below us. We just marked that right there, and then 9:30 right here. Boom, same thing. To mark this right here. I could even like need to go that far. So some things to work on. Like I love this because this allows me to work on me, journaling instantly, getting right back into, next day to take in what I need to take in for real. And like I said, it's all just practice at the end of the day. Like this is very important. So we do have like this low here as well. It's a 4 hour low. Like, let's be real. Are we gonna drop to this 4 hour low? I highly doubt it. But this is the closest low, like on NQ at least. But ES, this is pretty deep, and we ended up taking these lows here, putting in that SMT to then eventually run higher. So yeah, it's important to know there is a SMT here. It is a significant low into the market. If we do want to have a sell off, I probably will take off all my position and leave a runner just in case you want to rebalance. I mean, look at the higher time frame. Huge, huge daily fair value gap. Just this, bro. This entire month's been pretty much bullish. So will I take a short? I couldn't tell you that, right? But if a short is provided, I'm not gonna be scared or wary to take that, opportunity. I did it yesterday. I'm seeing what I could work on in the trade, and I'm seeing, why it could possibly work versus why it's probably best to just wait. And, at the same time, like I said, I'm taking what's confident. So let's mark that out real quick. But yeah, like this, I feel like honestly, this is still a beautiful target. Like in any market, this here, boom, is still a beautiful target. So I will, like I said, if I am in a short position, I will leave a runner on because why not? You know what I mean? Like in this position, why not? This is the first like higher time frame type of low. You go on the 4 hour, boom, it's the only low. And we got a huge imbalance here too, which is pretty nice. So, you jump to like a 5 minute, see what she was shaking. But yeah, like I said, we're pulling back to a change. Um, we're in a 15 minute right now. So pretty big 15 minute, pretty big 30 minute. Like straight that up to you for we're not an hour. So we're in a 30 minute right now. We got a nice leg in here and a nice close in this 30 minute. So we got a nice leg close on the 15 minute, not really a nice close. We closed above the 50%, and then the next 15 minutes did that, didn't make any, damage. But this 5 minute obviously got ran, boom, changing the state. Like we are getting like a little sell off. So like if I'm long, I have no clue where to target. Excuse me. But if I'm short, it's like almost like, are we even gonna go there? And that's just the reality of this market. So it's just I feel like personally, it's just gonna be positioning yourself. Just scrolling through the time frames, being in no rush to trade. Um, just be patient, man. Like be so patient to the point like, you could walk away and you don't need to, you don't actually need to take a trade today. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Today's Friday. A little bit of news, 10 a.m. Nothing crazy. Didn't mean to do that, but that's the count balance right now. Pretty fresh counts. Got two of them. Copy trading. So, um, yeah. So pretty much starting to get that. You know, here's a really clean model. Is what I'm looking at the moment. Um, yeah, big imbalance got filled. Go to the 4 hour imbalance did not get filled. Oh, NQ. NQ just looks totally different. I think that's the imbalance that, yeah. Did not, I'm gonna fill this a different color. Like, more like a light, something like this, maybe. I don't know, I just like seeing that color more. So it'll go like a little bit like that. I think that's calm. Where's this shit at? Oh. And then just put imbalance. I don't see that. But yeah, so like just knowing this imbalance is deeper, it is an area to target at the end of the day. Like this big 1 hour could easily just get filled and then we just go right back up to the highs. So I want to have it all noted that like we're, you know, this is what's happening. Bam. This is here, this is there. And this is how, trading should be. Like it should be like, you have everything marked out clean, you have what you like, and that's it. So we know we have buy side swept. Obviously, a leg that's going to keep on running, keep on running, keep on running. It's all time wise. Like when is the rebalance? When is this? When is that? So many different questions. But at the end of the day, I think most importantly is just positioning, patience, and it's practice at the end of the day. So like practice, practice this great habits. Practice the good habits that you need to. So I want that to be a little bit more visible. But look, pulled up into a 5 minute, right? Tap the 5 minute change in the state, and then pulled back to this one as well. So I'm gonna probably drop. Excuse me. I'm probably gonna drop a little bit lower time frame here. See if we could get any type of like short model to go lower. Because that's exactly what I wanted to see. And if we're gonna go lower, we're probably not gonna go lower anytime towards the open. That's the least chance we probably have. So I do want to see any type of not any type of, let me not say that, but I want to see some sort of reason to go back lower because we did do the work. We did what the work needed. So boom, tap this change in the state, fill this five, and that's pretty much exactly what we want to see. Bam, five, bow. So 5 minute gets filled, change in the state gets tapped. Five. I want that to be like highlighted for real. But I don't want to, like have it too bold. So same thing here though. fill the five, but don't tap, the change in the state, which it's perfectly fine. It was a pullback to the change. And then, I want to see some form, just a tiny bit of a retrace. So where's equilibrium of this like entire 4 hour leg? Probably are lining up with this imbalance. EQ lines up right under the imbalance. And that, like I said, that's where not you necessarily need to target, but it's a target. So that's where EQ lines up. It's like a lot of reason. I feel like this would be the rebalance that we need. Is it a crazy or even rebalance on this higher time frame? Nah, it's really not. So I feel like it's a small target. It's fruit. Don't need to. I don't need to take it there. Can take it there. I feel like this imbalance is the runner to sell side, all that. So like, um, most importantly is to recognize this. Lower time frame. That's an SMT. Drop down on like the 1 minute. That's a high getting taken. Just like that, SMT gets put in. Jump to like the 5 minute. Make sure you understand that read. Like bam, we didn't, we did not come in. I'm trying to see exactly because it's on the 5 minute. It's a 5 minute. So boom, did we take it? Yeah, we did. So boom, no SMT actually. So I think it was at first, but still. Just waiting patient and no rush. Like I feel like NQ still could rip a little bit higher. Still got a reason to move. I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of that. We got a 15 minute right here. We're in a 15 minute bullish while in a 15 minute bearish. So I'm gonna keep it actually for now, just because I don't want to have two overlapping right here. I already understand what we're doing and where we're at. We put in a 5 minute change right here. Boom, retraced back up into this IVG. Bam. What happens when we retrace? Sell right back off, but we're still inside of this gap. So it's going to be hard to get through. It's also a 30-minute gap. But that's just a tiny little, retrace. So at the end of the day, like I said, I have a kind of a read and a little understanding on what I really would look for this morning. But excuse me, that pullback and that tap right there is more than enough. Just kind of gotta wait for something like really lower time frame like that. I want ES to sort of look similar. But we'll just stay on the 1 minute for now. And if we get some type of volume to go in crazy, we get any type of volume that comes in crazy too short, we'll see if our model is present. yeah, so just super patient, this is literally why I'm practicing this full on, patience. Like, but look at EQ too. Rest is perfectly with a 1 hour low, 30-minute low, and this huge imbalance. So I feel like it makes a lot of sense if we're gonna get through this first 1 hour, if we're gonna close through a huge 30-minute, we're most likely gonna, close through this 30 while putting in a change to keep on, attacking lower, which that's exactly what we need. So we just have to wait, like, okay, word, like, is there a trade if we just do nothing and then just keep ripping? No, there's no trade. So it's really just about being patient, understanding what your model is, and just doing nothing else after that. So now we're finally getting that pullback. We needed this right here. So we're inside of this 5 minute, like say, we close through this five, we get through it, and we just continue to run higher. That's even more of a reason to just stay away. Because we already did a lot of the work, you know, already. It's kind of just like you want to start seeing that sell model start to get put in. But it's kind of like I said, I did this yesterday already. We're in this gap previous. Um, yeah, we were in a gap here. Put this change in, and I'm shorting. Obviously, when I see this gap get ran, we had a sign that we could run it possibly. But boom, change right there, right? Run this tiny gap, change, boom, and then we're long. We're long to the high. We obviously get like a huge sell off right after that, but it really just it really doesn't mean anything. So um I think it's just patience, allowing the model to be, present as possible, and then you take it with confidence. So ES is looking like it's going to invalidate this 1 minute. I will possibly short this. If we're gonna get this change here, I want to see ES get that change and pick up as well. I'm okay with waiting another minute because now I also could, expect 2 minute change, maybe a 3 minute change. I don't want to put all my eggs on this 1 minute change and, it's not it. But if ES doesn't want to change as well, then it's really not the best trade. But there really is going to be nothing holding us right here besides 30-minute gap. Just don't, like I said, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and try to, chase something like any 1 minute can get quickly invalidated and then we move back higher. But I'm trying to find the reason for us to sell off. That would need, a 2 minute change all above. But it looks like we're getting that here. I'm not too quick to put this trade on though. I'm not even probably gonna take it on NQ. A little bit more confident in ES, but we got equal highs, which that's always a good sign. So SMT, just let's see what we do with this SMT. I think that's most important. But tiny, tiny change right here. So we didn't really displace through it too crazy. But look, there we go. But I want to see ES complete that. If ES completes that, I will slap on short position, which looks like we're going to.
Order filled.
Right there. That's going to go at the high. Let's jump higher time frame. Stop loss is above a 15-minute fair value gap, which is more added confidence. And then EQ being down here, we could just target the top of this 1 hour because it's wide open, makes sense. So stop loss is at the top of that wick, which we could also give it a little bit more room, like even up here, but that's $500. Don't need it to be that high. I think getting that, oh, that 3-minute change is big too. That's pretty big. So I want to put my stop loss pretty not as tight as possible, but I think that's super clean right at the wick here. Even at this SMT, I'll leave it at the SMT because we have equal highs and then we fail to take that high and then we put in a change. That is a huge, huge indicator that there's a reason and a possibility for us to sell off. So I'm taking fruit. I'm not taking anything crazy. Stop loss here. Take profit at the beginning of the 1 hour. Not looking for, home run. You got generated liquidity here, and like I said, tiny 1 hour there, and then a big 1 hour right there. Reason to move lower. So we have reason. We put in the change. We did the work. We're looking like we're gonna get another, nice candle coming through. We got a 5-minute change. Stop is at the high. We let this rock out. It's a little bit before open. I like that as well. Open will give us a little bit more volume to pick up. But right here, it's a pretty good break even, point in time. But we pulled back to the change, put in the S&T, pulled back to a change. We're putting in the change here on ES. I like all of it. Confident. Slapped on 5 cons immediately. No need to enter with more, no need to enter with less. I think like with the stop loss I got, $230 is a very great stop loss. It's just a great risk managed trade. So, no emotions towards the trade. We're literally just watching. Doesn't really matter what it does here. Anything can happen. So it's understanding that too. So we got stop loss at the top of this wick. It's at the top of this wick. So we have to, fail inside of this gap again, which we already got through it pretty deep, but we didn't complete that. Looks like we're heading for that low. We have to fail through this wick and we have to fail through this gap again, right? And we have to then come all the way back to, this wick for me to be stopped. That's very confident, And along that way, I will see, right? I will be able to see if we're not going to come to this 1 hour. I'll be able to get a nice clean read like, oh yeah, we're not going to come here because we're already going to get trapped inside of a 1 hour here. But like I said, along that way, I'll be able to get a very, very clean read like, oh yeah, let me go break even, or I can go break even because we did this, we did that, you know what I mean? So boom. 5 minutes looking to close in about 2 minutes. 3-minute closed. Change got put in. Stops up there. 2-minute change got put in. And then, yeah. So we're in this gap right now. We're looking for it to hold, obviously. But a change is going to be all the way back up here. So I think I got confident size on, confident position where I'm at. No need to do nothing at the moment. NQ got really nice displacement. I like it. Stop losses at this SMT. We got a minute till open. Like I said, I like this at being towards the open for the volume to start picking up. And if we do want to go lower, that's gonna put us right into the position where we want to be. We want to see, market open and flush us type. So a couple lows right there, low here, didn't get taken yet. Look at ES, we are opening up fair value gaps as well. I just think, like I said, I I personally feel like everything was followed, every rule was, practiced, and it doesn't get more clean than that. So let's make sure it's literally at the top, an actual, clean target. So boom, that is the open, and then we do, like I said, we want to see that volume come in and then pick up, but whatever happens, happens in this position. We wicked it damn near, but we're gonna probably go break even here just because I don't really see a point in us not being break even, but I'm gonna see that 1 hour get eventually filled, and it looks like we're going to get some volume on ES as well. Pick up a little bit more. Close. And looks like TP's about to get hit.
Order filled.
We're gonna get out of there now. Like I said, I'm not tripping. That is 556 on the day. Took a really quick trade. I feel like we're gonna go there, right? But the only thing is, like, we did this yesterday. You know, we did this yesterday. We took the low. We're inside of a gap. We're just about to hit TP, and we run all the way back up. And it's like, I can take it to that trade. I could take it there, but we're in this 1 hour. Like I already knew this too. Like I'm not asking for too much, but in these market conditions, I feel like I am asking for tiny bit, not too much, but I'm asking for a lot. And I think that's just recognizing, just price, recognizing market conditions. It's gonna give us a couple chances. It's gonna give us a couple of chances to, we're about to get, missed, we're about to get filled. And I think that's just coming down to, just making the human choice to be like, let's just be reasonable with ourselves. Uh, we got $200 on, $232 on. We hit a 1 to 2, closed out like right there. We're already at a 1 to 2. I told myself yesterday, like, I need to go for the small hits, 1 to 2s, nothing crazy. I think people try to make trading like, oh, you need to catch this all the way down to equilibrium. And that's really what I was trying to make this shit. I wanted to, make it like that. But I'm not saying I want to do that today, but I previously, that's what I wanted to do. And it's like, obviously, like I said, I'm not tripping about the money. I'm not like looking at, excuse me, oh, well, damn it, like I wanted, 730. No, I'm not looking at that, bro. I'm looking at like, what is the market actually doing now? Like, do we have an actual reason to go lower? Are we really even gonna go lower? Like, yeah, we put this change in. We got a nice close on the 15 minute, right? That deep. Even in the 30 minute, we got pretty deep of a close, but we're still in it. And then we're still in this 1 hour too that we gotta then fight through. So the market has every right to just play, possibly put a change in and then just not even continue to go lower. So ES right here, actually, on the other hand, that change, we pull back to it. Stop is at the SMT, right? And boom, you're still short. You can be short to that 1 hour. Like it's the same exact model on ES, but like I said, in market conditions, we have not been we've showed signs to not be selling long. So me, I'm gonna, take my fruit. I'm going to, like, I made the decision to put the trade on. So like I feel as if, like, why do I need to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to catch this entire move. So, it's true. I really don't. Like, I feel like that's enough. And boom, like, like, I'm not trying to compare to what the market's doing right now. No, I'm making it all about the decision I made. And the decision was like, okay, I'm confident in this trade. I think that, we could catch a slight bit of a sell-off. That's kind of the bias I was aiming for a little bit on the day. And we lined it up perfectly. And boom, right after that, just simple, just lockout. Like lockout. Don't try to take another trade, even though I can't. You know what I mean? I can't take another trade. So, like, my rules won't even let me. And, my risk settings. So, $300 loss, two max trades per day. I can't take another trade. So, like I said, like, just be able to make the human conscious decision. Don't make the robotical decision. When you have to rely on zero zero emotion or zero like thoughts processing behind it, like, how would you feel if you watch the market go 2 ticks below, you already put your trade on, you already had the direction correct? How would you feel if it just reversed, and not that you didn't make any money, but now you just don't get rewarded for nothing? Like, you feel like you're chasing your tail now. Now the market does go in your way, your direction. Like, just ask yourself, how would you really feel? So that's really what I'm really focusing on at the moment. So with that, that's pretty much going to be the day. It's a beautiful day, like, beautiful, beautiful day. Um, uh, it's Friday, obviously, so that's going to end it for the day. That is on two accounts as well. So we're copy trading at the moment, and yeah. So like I said, the market has been proven to not, want to sell off in these conditions. So don't get it confused. Don't get it, twisted. Take what you're given. Take your fruit. You know, be grateful at the end of the day. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to just close out of all of this. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys on Monday.